every time this happens, I feel like I want to sue somebody. Like, you just hurt my beloved YouTube that's paying for our, production here, and maybe you should pay for that. It's the same thing that Twitch is doing. They're saying that these trolls have hurt Twitch in some way, and if this kind of thing was allowed and maybe even happened at a more wanton or larger effort or larger scale, it could really damage Twitch, so they better get rid of this now. This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below. In the Northern District of California, in the Twitch Interactive lawsuit, this is where Twitch is suing John Doe's 1-100 for allegedly, well, I mean, it's really not alleged. We all saw it happen, for streaming various inappropriate content to Twitch as a response to the Steam's Artifact or Valve's Artifact game not really being that great. I think that was the point of it, wasn't it? I mean, am I totally off on that one? So this is the ex parte application for leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference and memorandum in support. Finally, they fought. No, what is all of that? That's a lot to take in. Okay, so ex parte application. So this is a motion or application or request. Ex parte means it's one-sided. They are asking making this request or making this motion, and they don't have an opposing party to notify. You have to notify the opposing party when you file something. Well, they can't notify a John Doe. We are John Doe's 1-100. Who the heck are the 1-100? Well, they're going to ask for that now. So if the judge was to say, please give us the identity of the defendants so we can serve them, they would say, well, please, judge, give us the subpoena so we can send a subpoena and get the identities. So it's going to be circular. It's going to be a big catch-22. So they have to ask for permission to send a subpoena for the John Doe's identities. Well, why do they have to ask for permission? Don't federal attorneys have the subpoena power? Isn't Leonard French a federal attorney, and couldn't he just send a subpoena if he wanted to? Yes, but it has to be to a properly served party who has been served original process, or that first service of the summons and complaint, and then you can serve subpoenas at will. This is before that, which is also before the Rule 26F conference. So Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 26F requires the parties to have a conference before the opening of the discovery part of the trial process, pre-trial process, where you would then send subpoenas and hold depositions and conduct discovery. So we are before the Rule 26F conference. We have John Does that we don't know their identity. So how do we do all that? This is how you do it. This is also the way that they file the John Doe piracy cases. And so I've seen these kinds of things hundreds, actually probably 1,000 times or more. Please take notice that Plaintiff Twitch Interactive will and hereby does apply to the court for the following subpoenas. This motion complies with Local Rule 710. The defendants are amenable to suit in California, etc., etc., etc. We don't really need to go over all of that directly because we're going to go down here to the memorandum. Beginning May 25th, 2019, defendants broadcast hundreds of obscene, pornographic, terrorist videos on twitch.tv. We saw all of that in the previous video. Twitch moves this court now for an order allowing it to take discovery from Google, Microsoft, Verizon, Comcast, Cotina, Charter, Optimum, Suddenlink, Twitter, Discord, OVH, to obtain information that is reasonably likely to lead to the identity of the Doe defendants. So that's where they're looking, is Google, Microsoft, Verizon, Comcast, and various other ISPs, Twitter and Discord. I don't know, there could be, I don't think there's anybody else in there. So if your ISP is one of those, or you were involved in some way that didn't involve those, you might just be off the hook. No way to know, though, until you receive a notice or not. And how would you know if you didn't receive a notice?
So is it maybe they are like using Twitter and Discord too? Because obviously there's no foreign ISPs listed there. So
right.
Do you think they're using those communications to get the identity without having to list like...
Yeah, there were
Europe.
definitely, there was coordination using Twitter and Discord, and there was a website set up. I'm assuming the OVH hosting was the website host. So they're looking for, they don't know what's there. Like Twitch doesn't know whether that subpoena is going to identify the person. So the standard is actually, is it reasonably likely to lead to it? And yes, if the IP address can be traced to an account on, or the user or whatever can be traced to an account with the web host, with Twitter, with Discord, or with any of those ISPs, they're going to come back with an ISP subscriber's name, or maybe a Discord host will have a username, or your profile name will come back to something that's more real or something like that. Or be traceable to you. Maybe you always use LJ French, in my case, as a username for things. So, if they went and found my Twitter post where my name is not LJ French, but then it comes back to @LeonardJFrench.com, @LeonardJFrench was my Twitter handle, then they know it's somebody who might be named Leonard J. French, and at least follow up on that.
Yes.
That's what they're looking for. Are they going to catch all 100 or all the trolls or anything? Probably not. Some of that information will be bad. Some of it will not lead to an identifiable person. Some of it will. And you saw this with the Epic Games cheating stuff. They can use this, and they do find people. Twitch, headquartered in San Francisco, has global reach. Safety is its top priority. Defendants used the game directory for the game Artifact to broadcast prohibited content. I'm not going to read out what it was because we get demonetized for like anything these days. Please support us on Patreon and sponsor us. Twitch took action to shut down the accounts streaming the prohibited content. Despite Twitch's actions, the streams quickly reappeared, etc. It was coordinated it was a coordinated attack. The defendants maintained a website at artifactstreams.com, etc. They used the Twitch trademarks. Twitch investigated. They believe that one of the individuals involved uses the alias Skell or Skeletal, spelled with a Y. Skell is a persistent violator, has a Twitter account at SkeletalY, or Skeltaly, SKELTALY, and is associated with a second account, Twitch TOS. In late May 2019, Skell shared a script named tos.py, a Python script, with other users, which he uses to set up and share adult streams. Around this time, Twitch started seeing terrorist and obscene content from the Artifact game directory. A person with the Discord username Skell moderates one of the Discord servers. So they're looking for this guy named Skell.
Yes.
Or girl, could be a girl. This person named Skell. Then they're looking for the web server with OVH hosting, and they've used the Whois service to identify the ISP provider. So more about Skell. They're really after Doe 1 appears to be Skell. Yes. They're really looking for Skell here, and then Doe's 2 to 100 are any support, I think. So then they argue that they have good cause, and I'm going to probably skip all this because aside from the good cause standard, plaintiff, so the courts consider whether plaintiff can identify the missing party with sufficient specificity, whether the plaintiff has identified previous steps to locate an elusive defendant, whether the suit could withstand a motion to dismiss, so the merits of the lawsuit are good enough to withstand a motion to dismiss. That's a really high standard. So that means that this lawsuit, if the judge agrees, the judge also likely would not grant a motion to dismiss. The plaintiff has demonstrated that there is a reasonable likelihood of being able to identify the defendant through the discovery such that the service of process or the initial serving of the summons and the complaint would be possible then. So at this point, really, we're just looking for someone who can be properly served, the appropriate party who can be properly served. So they're going to go through and make the case that they have tried to identify the John and Jane Does in other ways, that they have jurisdiction because of their significant contact with Twitch's services in California, that they knowingly access Twitch's servers, etc., that they've made good faith effort to locate them, and that the complaint could withstand a motion to dismiss. Here, actually, we can go over this because here they're going to make some of their arguments. On the federal trademark infringement claim, they claim that Twitch alleges it owns the Glitch and Twitch trademarks and that defendants used those trademarks in connection with their artifact streaming website and behavior. Then for breach of contract, it's going to be the terms of service were violated, that the defendants did assent to the terms of service and used Twitch's services and then violated those terms in using the services. Trespass to chattels is that Twitch alleged defendants accessed services without authorization when streaming prohibited content. This exceeds the scope of permissible access to Twitch services. And then fraud, under California law, Twitch shut down defendants' accounts because they streamed content prohibited by the terms. Knowing that Twitch had barred them from further accessing Twitch services, they created additional accounts, and they're calling that fraud. Then there's reasonable likelihood that they'll be able to find evidence or an identity that can be served, and that's all. That all sounds normal. That all sounds quite correct. So yeah, we can expect that Skell or Skeletal or Skeltally will be the primary party in the Twitch artifact streams lawsuit, and that others connected to that streaming, I don't know what their role will be or how much Twitch is pursuing them.
You think maybe they want to identify that main person and try and strike a deal to get him to identify the rest, even for cases of getting the
Remember
banned?
Prenda Law did this, and if Prenda Law had owned copyrights, it might actually be legal. But if they can make a deal with John Doe number 1 to help identify John Doe's 2 to 100, and then maybe let John Doe number 1 off a little bit lighter so they can pursue John Doe's 2 to 100. That would be, I would expect Twitch to do that only if Twitch was going to gain some tremendous benefit from it. I don't think Twitch is actually out for money for this. I think they're out to like make an example of, please don't do this to our beloved service. Same thing with YouTube. I mean, how many times have we seen someone like a Carlos Maza or like the Daily Mail with their expose trying to claim that Georg Sprav, the Slingshot channel, was espousing terrorists by exposing an Amazon ballistic shield that had offered no protection, basically. He stabbed it with a knife, and the Daily Mail did an expose about how YouTube is sponsoring. Every time this happens, I feel like I want to sue somebody. Like, you just hurt my beloved YouTube that's paying for our, production here, and maybe you should pay for that. It's the same thing that Twitch is doing. They're saying that these trolls have hurt Twitch in some way, and if this kind of thing was allowed and maybe even happened at a more wanton or larger effort or larger scale, it could really damage Twitch, so they better get rid of this now. So this is a preemptive kind of thing. They're cutting off this damage before it could get worse. Yes, it is my beloved YouTube. It's the only content host right now that is actually paying money to. I mean, Twitch pays a little bit, but Twitch is a gaming focused website, yes. And we have not found our audience. Yes, we're on Twitch right now, but we have not found that you, our audience, are thousands and thousands of people, whereas YouTube is thousands and thousands of people. So we want the YouTube-sized audience and the more or less fairness that Twitch has shown us. That's why we moved our live show to Twitch, because they don't mess with us nearly as much as YouTube does. Once in a while something happens on Twitch and I'm like, oh, okay. But on YouTube we get demonetized every week for something, and then we have to appeal it. Meanwhile, we're wondering, what did we do this time? We think the University of Michigan video got demonetized because we mentioned Title IX, even though we don't discuss Title IX. We think the Twitch support, the previous video on this got demonetized permanently because the comments or something. We didn't actually talk about the videos or the contents. We just read the lawsuit. And so we think it was either the things that were listed, the video types that were listed as being streamed illegally, or maybe the comments got out of control. So that's why that. So that is our show, everybody. Hopefully we'll maintain our record since June 10th we have released more than one video per day. One video per day, and then a couple days in there we had 2 videos. So you've had more than one video per day. So definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell if you want the video per day to always show up in your inbox, and make sure to, I guess, check the all you can recommended ones or all notifications if you really want every notification. We'd love to have you have every notification because we'd love to see our channel grow. On that, our growth isn't being supported by YouTube as much as we'd like. The YouTube revenue is down, so if you would like to see us continue our daily release schedule and be able to pay Brandon and be able to pay Tactical and be able to pay me to do these things, then we would like your support on patreon.com/ljfrench or sponsus.org/law, where you can directly support our efforts. We're working on more and more perks. Right now, I just make sure that the Patreons and supporters are notified of every video, and when we try to add like some extra off-topic stuff or ancillary stuff as well. But we would like to begin adding more, non-released content, private content just for the patrons and stuff. But what would that be? There isn't a whole lot of behind the scenes here. That isn't me reading something, like sitting here reading a thing, or sitting here listening to an audio book or audio conversion of a legal case. So let me know what you would like to see there from the Patreon and Sponsus websites. If you'd like us to post more personal content or stuff like that. That's great. So thank you very much to our supporters in the month of June here. At the $50 level, thank you to John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Kyle Mudrak, Eevi, Michael Pearce, Terry Crisp, Richard Fournier, Spirit Bear, Jan Negrey, Daniel Perez, Aspernari, and Snorre Wisotzky. And thank you to the $5 plus supporters that are scrolling on the LED panel above my head here. This will be all the supporters for the month of June, even though these videos will be dropping on demand in the beginning of July because they were produced in June. Same thing will happen for the supporters as we get to the end of July. There'll be some videos in August that still run the July supporters because they, the thing was shot at the end of July. So thank you very much for all your support. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. With me in the studio here is Kaylee from Scotland, and in the virtual studio was Tactical and Brandon. Thank you very much for joining me today. Love you all.